guys, my name's Alex from Gear for Music, and I'm here today to tell you about the Akai Timbre Wold. So what is the Timbre Wold? Well, basically it's a Rhythm Wolf synth engine multiplied 4 times with a few improvements over its tuning. So this is a 4-voice polyphonic analog synth with 25 keys, pitch control and a sequencer. So the first thing you notice about the Timbre Wolf is its size. It's a lot bigger than the Rhythm Wolf and it's really well built. The chassis is made from metal, which feels incredibly solid and ideal if you want to throw in a bag and take it to a jam session or a gig. Firstly, we have 4 voices. They're all the same, but they're independent from each other. So this allows you to create something unique and complex sounds. Each voice has its own oscillator, which can be switched between sawtooth and square tooth. At the top of each voice, we have a volume control for controlling the volume of that voice. Under that, we have a tune control. You can use the tune control to pitch the voice up and down and create that detuned analog sound. Next is the filter, which is used for controlling the low-pass filter. This is a 4-pole filter, 24 dB per octave. Now when the filter is fully open, all sound is passed through. As you control the filter, the high-frequency sound is removed, allowing only the low-frequency sounds to pass. The resonance boosts the amplitude at the cutoff point of the filter. That creates that squelchy analog sound you may be familiar with. Envelope amount allows you to select the amount that the voice is going to be affected by the filter envelope. The decay is used to set how long it takes for the note to decay or continue playing after you've released the key. On the right hand side of the synth, next to the volume control, is the howl knob. This controls how much distortion is added to the sound. The howl circuit is really interesting and adds some great harmonics to the sound and gives the Timbre Wolf its unique tone. On the left hand side, we have the display that shows the tempo, the swing amount, and if you hold a sequencer button, what note will be played on that step. Underneath that we have the tempo knob. This can be used to set the global tempo of the synth, anything between 20 and 300 BPM. Below is a tap tempo button, which can be easily used to tap in a tempo. The tie button allows you to tie notes together, something similar to what you'd find on a 303. The shift button is used to access second functions of certain buttons. And the keyboard at the bottom is a 25 key velocity sensitive keyboard with octave buttons that cover 4 octaves. Above the keyboard is the sequencer, which can be easily used to program the 4 tracks. The lights show which channels have sequencer triggers on them. The most exciting part of the synth is the voice selector. This switch is used to select between mono, poly and unison mode. Mono mode will basically allow you to play one note, one voice at a time. So we select which voice we're playing using the mute select buttons under each voice. This mode is very similar to what you'd find on a 303, a single voice using a single filter. When sequencing in mono mode, each voice has its own sequencer track. This means you have a 4-track sequencer controlling a different voice per track. You can easily create interesting patterns. Poly mode allows you to play the synth as a 4-voice polyphonic synthesizer. This means that you can play chords up to 4 notes. Also in poly mode, each note played triggers a different voice, which rotates through all 4 voices, then back to the start. This allows you to create variation in your sequences. When sequencing in poly mode, only the first sequencer track is used, and just like before, each note triggers a different voice running through 1 to 4 in rotation. When in unison mode, all 4 voices are played at the same time, which gives a really thick stacked tone which is ideal for punchy bass. When in unison mode, only the first track of the sequencer is used, but it plays all voices simultaneously. Programming the sequencer can be done in 3 ways. First, press a note on the keyboard followed by one of the sequencer buttons. This can be repeated until the sequence is finished. Another way that the sequencer can be programmed is by holding down one of the step buttons and using the tempo control to select the note that is going to be played. This method can be used to select more than one note at a time. The third way to program the sequencer is in real time, using the keyboard and the record button on the right hand side. So what do you get on the back of the Timbre Wold? Well, everything you'd expect really. You have a headphones out, you have a main out, which is a summed mix of all 4 voices in mono. You have each voice sent out individually on its own channel, which can be sent out to an audio interface or to a mixer. You have MIDI in, out and through, where MIDI signals can be sent to external hardware. If you're using gate, you have gate in and out, which can also be sending clock signal to external hardware. MIDI over USB, which is plug and play. 12 volt DC in, power button and Kensington lock. With this being an analog synth, it does take a moment or so for it to warm up, but the Timbre Wold does have an auto-tune function that will actually calibrate all 4 voices at the same time. Now to use this function, all you need to do is hit Shift and button 1. Once cal appears in display, if you hit button 1 again, the calibration will begin. I hope you enjoyed finding out about the new Timbre Wold, which is now available at Gear for Music. Thank you for watching.